Hello everyone and welcome. One of the things I teach children is that we all have two voices in our heads. One that it is supportive, optimistic, empowering, and I like to call this voice the coach voice. But we also have a negative voice that creates lots of fear, that drags us down, that stops us from doing the things that we will love to do, that makes us feel bad about ourselves. And I call this voice the inner critic. Now, everyone has a critical inner voice, but people who struggle with anxiety, with low self-esteem, with confidence, have this voice more louder. I would like to share with you some of the things that the critic does to you, how this critic affects you, affects your actions, your behaviors, your feelings, and the same happens to our children. So let's see what are those things. The critic blames you for the things that go wrong. The critic compares you to others, to their achievements, to their abilities. The critic sets impossible standards of perfection and then beats you up for the smallest mistakes. The critic keeps an album of your failures but never reminds you of your accomplishments. The critic tells you to be perfect, to be the best, and if you are not the best, then you are a failure, then you are nothing. The critic also calls you names like stupid, ugly, selfish, weak, incompetent, and then makes you believe that all of them are true. The critic reads your friends and other people's minds and then convinces you that those people are not really your friends. Those people don't really like you. Those friends are disappointed in you. They seem to be bored when you have a conversation with them. The critic exaggerates your weaknesses by insisting that you always say stupid things, you always screw up things, or you never finish anything on time. One of the strange things about the critic is that he often seems to have more control of your mind than you do. But you, your child, and anyone else can learn to take control of the inner critic. And I'm going to share with you some steps on how you can do that. First, you need to be aware of the negative voice. How I am aware that my inner critic is in my control? Well, when I start to feel fear or sad or angry. So the first step is to be aware of that negative voice. Second is to stop the negative self-talk, the inner critic. Ask the inner critic for an evidence for that negative thought. Ask yourself, okay, what will happen if I don't listen to the inner critic? Another question to challenge the critic voice is to ask yourself, what would I say to a very good friend of mine or a family member if they would have the same thoughts? What would I say to my best friend if he would be in the same situation? Imagine that your friend comes to you upset and tells you that their inner critic is saying mean things to them. Consider what you would say to comfort your friend and then say those things to yourself. Be your own coach. Ask yourself, what would my coach say about this? Or what would my mom, my best friend will say about this thought? You can use the same questions to help your child stop the negative voice, the negative self-talk, the critic. And children need to learn how to stop the negative voice. Because this negative voice creates lots of anxiety, anxious feelings. And the anxious feelings holds children back in life from living the life that they deserve, from living a happy childhood and reaching their fullest potential. The critical inner voice is like an enemy who lives with us, that follows us everywhere. And this enemy can affect every aspect of our lives, of our children's lives, including self-esteem, self-confidence, performance, accomplishments at school, work, relationship, career in life for our children. I hope I made you realize that nothing can stop you from moving through fear, from doing the things that you love, then that inner voice, that inner critic, and you need to challenge that voice. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch the video, and don't forget to share these ideas, this lesson with your child.